Good afternoon, friends, family, loved ones, enemies, contributors, distractors. This is Kevin Lewis on the Blueprint, and this week's show is called God Body. And this is a show that's going to be about mainly, I guess, manifesting our own destiny, or manifesting destiny. And when we talk about manifest destiny, when we say manifest, we're talking about bringing something into fruition. We're talking about bringing something into existence, to display something or demonstrate something, being able to display or demonstrate something or to present something. That's what we mean by manifest. And the destiny, when we say our destiny, what's your destiny? Our destiny is our future or our fate. Simply put, that's our future. And the power is in controlling your own fate. Being able to control your destiny is power. And when you decide to relinquish that control and you give it to something else or something else, that's called faith. You're putting faith, and that's control that's outside of yourself. And we as a people, as a black people, we have a lot of faith. We have always been a people with a lot of faith. Some people say, oh, we've always been a spiritual people, meaning that we have always put our faith in things outside of ourselves on a whole. Whether that faith is in God, whatever God system that we have, religion, government. Sometimes we say, well, we vote. We put a lot of our faith in the voting and casting votes. And faith is something that you can put in another object that's outside of yourself. You can have faith in a bridge. That whenever we drive across a bridge, and any of us that drive or travel, we put our faith in other things all the time. We put our faith in airplanes. When we get on a plane, we have faith in the engineers and the science of that, or the system, that we're not going to crash. And even though we may get nervous, but we give faith, or we put our faith in God when we're on these type of things. You cross a bridge. You have faith that it's going to hold you. You climb a ladder. You have faith that the rails are not going to break, or you're not going to fall off. That what you're doing, you're putting faith outside of yourself. You're putting faith in an object combined with the belief in your own abilities. And when we struggle as a people, many times we put our faith in a Savior. We think that if we have somebody that's going to come and save us from a predicament that we are in. So I have a question. Do we have faith in our youth? Meaning, do we believe that our youth is going to do what it takes for them to gain control of their destiny? Because we haven't manifested our destiny as a group, as a generation. And no generation before us have manifested their own destiny. So the question I have is, do we have faith in our youth? And if we don't believe that our youth will manifest their own destiny, that means that we have somehow failed them or failed to connect with them. And vice versa. Do we believe that our youth has any faith in the things that we have done to secure their future, to manifest their destiny? Do you believe that they have faith in our actions that we have done, that they look at us and think that we have done enough to secure their future in this country? And if they don't, believe that we have done what we should have done or should be doing, and if they don't have faith in what we are doing and what we believe that we're doing that's right, then why would they want to listen to us, to follow our lead, to follow our direction, to follow our instructions? How would they listen to us if they don't believe that, if they don't have faith in the things that we're doing? Why would they have any faith in learning from us? Why would they want to learn from us? If you believe someone is on the wrong path or isn't capable of doing something, why would you listen to them? We have that at work with management. Sometimes we have managers that we don't have any faith in. We don't have faith in their abilities, in their judgment. So my question is, do you believe that our youth has any faith in our control of their destiny, securing their fate, securing the direction that they're in? I hear a lot of people always talking about, well, these kids don't listen. And I always ask people, well, why do you think they should? Just because you're older than them. But at some point, you should have set an example instead of demanding that respect. And I'm not talking about common courtesy. I'm talking about when you try to teach them or tell them something, the right way to go. I mean, to me, I'm like, well, maybe they don't have any faith in us. Maybe they're looking at us in judgment. Maybe they haven't been taught to follow us. So where's that to me depicts a breakdown. And what we do, we refer them to our tactics that we have used as a generation. And the generation before us referred us to their tactics that they have used as a generation, and so on and so on. Those same tactics is to vote, to solve your issues, putting your faith in the government that have time and time again failed us as a people. We give them our tactics as in our religion. Many times as a perspective of finding a savior. This is what's going to save you, not as an individual. Because any of this, I'm not talking about saving an individual or individual success. I'm talking about a savior as in our people, our plight in this country. And some people would direct you to a religion to say that this is going to save our people, as progress has slowly matriculated throughout the decades with our people in this country, if not at all, sometimes not at all. We're not making progress, or we're making very little progress with the tactics that we have been using. But we refer them to these tactics that haven't worked for the purposes that our goals should be demanding. Over the years, we've had leaders and organizations and movements that have basically failed in the most part because we keep fighting the same battles. And some people may say, well, we've made the progress. We made progress. And sometimes progress that comes slow for the work that you have done and put in can be a failure. If I worked all my week, the whole week, to get a loaf of bread, and that's all that I can afford at the end of the week, then I'm failing my family, or I'm failing myself. Because the ends is not justified by the means. The means in which I put forth and the effort that I put forth, and I've done all of this work only to get a loaf of bread, All the work that I put in, the blood, sweat, and tears that our people have put in over this century, last century. And this is where we're at, fighting the same battles. We haven't secured a future for our kids. The future that we have secured, the future that the generations before us have fought and secured for us, is a fight that we are continuing to have. And I believe that it's slowly matriculating because each generation starts all over again. This is what I believe. Like I have a tortoise in Dago, Kiswahili for little one, and anyone that knows me knows that he's not that little anymore. So when I put my tortoise in the yard, and especially when he was very small, I could sit there and I could put him in the yard, and it's going to take him a long time before he's able to make it out my yard. I don't have a fence in my front yard, but I could put him on the side of my house. There's nowhere for him to go. And I could come back in 10 minutes because it's going to take him at least 10 minutes before he's able to be anywhere close to the sidewalk or the street. So I was basically not caring or not vigilant. Didn't believe that I needed to be vigilant. And when he gets close, and I don't know where he think he's going, but he's not fast enough. He can't run. I mean, he probably think he's running in his mind. But once he gets to the edge of whatever direction he's headed, I'll pick him up and start him back over again. And all that effort that he puts forth to go wherever he think he's trying to go, he has to start over again. And this is what I believe. This is an analogy of what I believe our people are going through generation after generation, because they are not building off of our success that we think we're having. We think we're having success, and it's not really a success, or it's very little success. But then a lot of times they're starting over, in my opinion, because they're fighting the same battle again. They're being murdered in the street. They have police brutality. We haven't alleviated any of these stresses or pressures that they have on them. Then they're fighting the same tactics over and over again. And this is why I believe that progress has been very limited with our people. Because I believe that there's some type of disconnect between generation to generation. Maybe rightfully so. Maybe they don't believe in what we're doing, or we don't believe what the prior generations have been doing. And if that's the case, we set off on our own journey. And as we get more mature, get through the school system, the education system, and then we start to pick and choose which way we think we should go when we don't already have a direction. We're trying to learn from previous generations that's not our own. We're learning from the Garveys and the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings. We're fed that stuff again. When we get old enough to start caring about making progress as a people, then the journey starts again. We're not picking up where the last generation left off, because we're not picking up from them being elders and believing in whatever they built and whatever they say. This is what we're not passing down anything. We're not passing down wealth. We're not passing down schools that we started, that we want them to continue to build. We're not passing down any tactics, political tactics, or any direction like that. It's mainly just go vote. Vote for whoever's out there and vote this way. Vote for this party. So they're fighting the same struggle again, just in their generation. And to me, this is a problem. Nothing is designed without a purpose in this world, in this universe. This is what I believe. Nothing is designed without a purpose. So what is the design? Who is the designer? And this is for any belief that any of us have. I don't care if you have a religious belief, if you have a scientific belief, if you have, your religion is atheism. I don't care. If you believe that nature has just come about and we are just here, then what I'm saying is we should be a student of our belief system. God body means is what you believe. That's what God body means. It's whatever you believe that is designed, that there's a designer for our purpose. God body could be your religion. You believe in a body, that there's a body that's more important than yourself, greater than yourself, a creator more powerful than yourself, that has designed everything, and everything that isn't designed for a purpose. Therefore, there's a purpose and a goal for you to reach or not reach. If you don't believe in any God, in a God, particular dogma of religion, the four major religions, and you believe that if you, even if you're atheist, then you believe that something greater than yourself has created you, whether you believe it's just nature, evolution, or whatnot. Whatever it is that has put you here is greater than anything that you're able to do yourself. So if your God body is nature, and you look at nature, what I'm saying is you have to study that discipline, that God body, more than just remembering scriptures and trying to learn from just your scriptures. You have to make that applicable to the environment that you are in today. You're learning history. You're learning ways to do the things that you believe that you need to do, that is laws or a dogma of your religion. But it has to be more than that. You have to be a student of the purpose and ask, why are we here? Why am I just doing this? Why are we here just and going to the creator's purpose for you, the designer's purpose for you? And if I go into and I say religion, people has this certain mindset of what I'm talking about. But the etymology of religion comes from a Latin phrase, religare. And what religare means is something to bind or to bond with something. And in many cases, we're saying to bond with our creator, or to bind, rebind, or come back to our purpose and our creator. So what is the purpose of the creator? And it has to be achieved, to embody your purpose, to become a constituent of something bigger. And when you become a constituent, that means you're a small part of something much bigger than yourself. And I don't care if you just believe in nature. You have to realize that we as human beings are a small part of a larger, much larger system. If you just look at the earth, we're a small part of a massive system, ecosystem. We're parts of individuals, human individuals, because we are not one as in humanity. Therefore, we as a people are not going through the same struggle as other people, but we have to understand that we are part or constituents of something much larger than ourselves. So we have to be able to bind or bond in some type of way to manifest our own destiny, to ensure the destiny of our offspring in whatever environment that we're in, whether that environment is controlled by someone else or not. We have to do what is best for our group to be able to survive in whatever system that we're in, because nature will tell you, if you are not able to adapt, then you will become extinct. And if your religion is one of the four religions, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever it is, Judaism, I think I named 5, did I? But if your God body or religion is one of those major religious groups, then there's a purpose more than just what is written in those books. Those are laws, and people memorize scriptures and things like that. And what I'm getting at, sometimes you get into these little discussions and arguments, and all they could do is recite scriptures. But okay, but how can you make that manifest into the world that we're living in today if you're talking about us as a people or your offsprings and things like that? If you're just concerned about an individual achievement in your religion, then that's not what I'm talking about. That's a total different mindset. I'm talking about whatever you have, whatever your belief system is, whatever dogma that you follow. It has to have some type of purpose for a people to get us out of the situation that we are in if you're looking at black people in this country. And if you're telling me that you already have those answers, or you can show me examples of whatever you're talking about, because what I'm submitting to you is that we don't have that understanding yet. Because no people in this, and if I say in America, show me a people of any religion that is absolved from having freedom, justice, and equality struggles in this nation as a group in a racist white supremacy system. Other than the white people in this country, what other group has manifested their own destiny? It is not subject to racism, white supremacy. And if you can't tell me that group, then that means whatever the dogma of that group is, or the God belief, the God body of that group, you're not able to make it applicable to get our freedom, justice, and equality. All you have been able to do is use that in an individual context. And this world doesn't work on the individual basis. It's a whole ecosystem. Our universe doesn't work on an individual basis. We have gravitational pulls. Everything is part of a big, magnificent construct. Everything works together. If I just look at nature, everything in nature has a purpose. Everything in nature must be able to feed and procreate and have some type of relationship with its environment, whether it's other predators and things that it can feed off of and things that it need to get away from. And as a group, as individuals, everything falls by the wayside. But as a group, it must reproduce and survive. If it is here, it has to learn how to survive. So what I'm getting at is our belief systems, our God bodies are not teaching us as a people in this country how to manifest our destiny as a group and not as an individual. So you have a religion, but what is the purpose of your religion? If it is only for your individual prosperity after death or whatever, then that's not what I'm talking about. There has to be more than that. Because between being born and dying, we have a journey. If you look at nature, nature is very violent. Nature is a dog-eat-dog type of world or system. So you have to learn how to deal with each other. You have to learn how to deal with those, how to have some type of relationship. Whether it's a relationship of respect or it's a relationship that's turbulent. Lions and hyenas, they're at war, but they're able to coexist in this ecosystem or the ecosystem that they're in. They give and take, but they're not friendly, and that's not the type of relationship. It's some type of relationship. We have to understand the relationship, and maybe some of our purposes here is because we're trying to have a relationship with those that have a different idea of the relationship that they want to have with us. We keep wanting to have this dream of being able to hold hands with the people that don't want to hold our hands. So if your God body is this political system, and that's what you are, a politician, and you're trying to teach our people that everything is all great and things, and we're living the reality of things not being great, And what you're telling us is to just be happy. Don't worry, be happy with where we're at. We've made some progress. And this disrupts the natural force of things when you're trying to teach or to pass things along to your youth, that they should be having faith in your direction. And the reason that they don't is because we are on the wrong path. And this is a reason, if a spider has offspring, they believe wholeheartedly in the mother spider. She's going to be doing everything that she needs to do to ensure the survival of her young. And I don't care, you take any species, that is how things are. Or if they don't stay there to protect their young, they're already equipped to protect themselves. We are basically abandoning our young when it comes to giving them what it takes to fight a system of their environment. So they are learning to fight on their own. This is an abomination of nature. Whether you believe that there's a higher creator that created the nature of the things that we are in, that nature that God has created, whatever God you think of, God body that you think of, that is not a result of his creation. Everything that fathers another generation, mothers another generation, equips that generation to survive. Even if it abandons them after birth, it's because that rattlesnake already can defend himself and has the weapons, the venom, and everything. They're born ready to survive. With humans, that is not the case. And not talking as individuals, but I'm talking about as a group. We in this country should be able to pass along to our youth to where they have the faith in us and what we're teaching them and showing them, that they will succeed in this environment. And I don't believe that to be so. To manifest the destiny we are meant to reach, we must have a goal as a group. And our goals as a group has nothing to do with any other group around us, because they may not have our best interest in mind. It's a saying, if you want to, it's an African proverb, and it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. And it says, if you want to go far, then you go together. So what this is saying is, you could travel, do whatever you want on your own, and you may succeed on your own, but you are not going to be strong by yourself. A bee by himself is not a formidable threat. A lion by him or herself is not a formidable threat to a pack of hyenas that consider you a mortal enemy. But if you want to go far or further, success comes with the group. We have individuals that may go far. We send our kids out as individuals. Go to college and do this. Then we're happy. Oh, this person is a doctor. My daughter is a nurse. My daughter is this, or my son is a politician. But if they don't have the backing of the group, then we as a group are going to keep fighting the same issues that our parenting generation has fought. If any of the individuals that you speak of in history, Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, if they were only worried about themselves as an individual, then they would choose professions where they could be lawyers, doctors, or anything that their brave minds can manifest, build within their own family. But they had a broader perspective. And this is the blueprint of what a group of people can do to secure their future and the future of their young. For us to be able to achieve, you have to become a student of your belief system and not just laws and books and scriptures and things like that. Talk to me about how, if you have your book and you want to open your book, whatever book you have, or if you want to tell me about the ancestors and all these things that they did and believed, tell me how is it that that is going to help us to achieve our goals today. We must be able to bond with our environment. That means we must be secure in where we're at, be able to improvise and adapt to the things that's happening around us. And we have to be able to bond with each other as a group. If we want to go somewhere together, we have to be able to bind and bond. That's what religion is. The etymology of religion, being able to bind together, to bond with something. And with us, our religion has to be to bond together and go somewhere as a people and as a group. I'm not going to bond with a stranger. Many of us has been relegated to being strangers to each other. We're familiar with our struggles. We have the same struggles, but we don't have any relationship. That's as far as our relationship goes, is the similarities in our struggles. We don't see each other as any type of group, a real community. We don't see each other as a colony. We see each other as a community. Therefore, our struggles remain, and we're on the wrong path somehow, some way, because out of the work that we put in, all of the work that our leaders that have put in, and we are still fighting the same battles. Generation after generation, we have to relearn Malcolm, relearn Garvey. Many of us don't know Garvey or Newton, Huey, or Bobby Seals and Angela Davis's. We don't know them people. We have to relearn, because the system is not designed for us to do any of the things that I'm talking about. The system is made for us to continue to go on the paths that we have been on and recycle the struggle as the next generation goes on. If it's hard to have faith in something that you can't control. It's hard for if you can't control your destiny, it's hard for someone else to have faith in you. If the younger generation is looking at us beg somebody else for the things that we need to succeed, it's hard for them to have faith in your direction. I can just go to them and ask again for the things I need. Why am I going to believe in any plan that you have when you're still on your knees begging for success? Why would I trust in you? That's the easy. We're doing the least to manifest our destiny. Or we're not doing anything at all to being able to control our own destiny. And when we talk about, I'm gonna bring something up. There's something in, they call it in Islam the 12 Jews. It's not in Orthodox Islam. This is something from Elijah Muhammad, and something that the 5%ers have adopted. They call it the 12 Jews: knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, freedom, justice, and equality, food, clothing, and shelter, to achieve love, peace, and happiness. Now, I'm not advocating for any of the belief systems that use these Jews, but I just want to use it as an example, because I think it's a pertinent example. Now, what they talk about in the 12 Jews, this is what the end game of the Jews is: to have the last three Jews, which is love, peace, and happiness. That's when you reach a state of tranquility, happiness, in life. But you must have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You must know, you must learn, have information of who you are, why you're here, what is your purpose, what's happening in surrounding you. All this is knowledge from the cradle to the grave. You should always be learning because your environment is going to constantly be changing. And then to be able to do something to process that information, that's wisdom. That's wisdom. And with these two together, then you have an understanding. Now, what I just described to you is basically science. Science is a discipline of learning, gathering information, and having a theory on that information that you gathered. Learning facts and knowing how to use the facts. That's what science is. And a lot of conversations I get into with a lot of individuals is they don't understand, and I believe most of us don't understand science. And people think science is just these older men in these long suits, and they just don't believe in religion and anything like that. But soon as a science or some type of group comes up and finds something that validates your belief system, then you're quick to want to use that information to say, see, we're right. See, they found Noah's Ark, blah, 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 whatever. Science confirms this, and you want to use that for validation. And then when it goes against your belief system, now you're against science. And science is just using those that study information, learn how to use the information. They discern between facts. And this is what I believe our problem is. Many of us can't discern between a fact and a theory. So when I get in these conversations with people and they're disturbed by what a scientist say, well, we found this, we researched and this is what we found. So then they got to explain what they think it means in a bigger picture. And if you're not content with what they're, that's a theory. A theory is an explanation of facts. So when I get in these little discussions and arguments with people, they'll tell me, something, science has found this. And I'm like, who? Where? Tell me what science, you can't just say science found this. Something that could be a fact is something that could be measured or calculated and measured again and confirmed and calculated. That's what a fact is. Facts tend to change. People think facts are something that's solidified, that, oh, it's a fact, it's true no matter what. But sometimes those facts change. What we believe is a fact is no longer a fact. A theory is just an explanation off of the information that you have. That's your wisdom. And I could give you an example. If you're in your bed, and a fact is, a lot of that, the human race, we use the sun, the location of the sun, to tell time of day. And time that 4 o'clock a.m., 5 o'clock p.m., that's a construct that we have developed. And you could be lying in your bed and it could be dark. You could have your alarm set. If you see light coming into your room from the curtains and you believe, okay, the sun is up, it has to be getting later in the morning. You jump up like, why didn't my alarm go off, and blah, blah, blah. That light that you see, that you're accepting as sun, is now just a theory that you believe is a fact. The theory that you're drawing is saying, the reason I think it's late, without you jumping to go look at a clock, and say that you look at your clocks and they're flashing, the power has gone out. But initially you thinking, okay, it's light, it's the sun, it's light coming in, it's light outside. You believe that it's factual, that because you see light coming in your room, that it's later in the morning, that's sunlight. This is what I'm getting at. But if you go outside and confirm that it's sunlight, then that's a fact. But if you go outside and say it's the electric company working in the alley and they have their lights and the lights are shining on your window and making you think that that's sunlight, then what it was something that you accepted as a fact is not a fact. And then everything, your whole theory changed. That's an explanation for why you saw the light. The fact that we use the sunlight to tell time of day, that's a fact. That happens. That's what we do. People do that. But every light that we see is not necessarily the sunlight. And it could be a situation where that we jump to a conclusion, a theory, based on something that we had at our disposal. But when we look deeper into it, we found out that that was not the fact and that was not so. This is how we see things in the world. Many of us argue things that we think, and you argue in theories. And it's okay to argue theories because this is how you come up with a plan. Because you think that your plan will work. That's your theory. The fact is that we as a people are not content with the situation that we're in. The theories that we must come up with is ways to get out of this situation. A theory is that we must work together in some capacity to obtain our goals as a group. There's nothing wrong with that theory. And you could disagree with a theory. But we're not arguing facts, we're arguing theories. And it's okay to argue theories. So when I go back to the 12 Jews, having knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that's having some type of science or you come up with information and it changes the theories that you want to have. Or you add to the theory. And what we do, what we're fighting for in this country is freedom, justice, and equality. I believe this is something that we have fought for the longest. For justice, we fought for our own freedom. And even though we may have be free from chattel slavery, we were not free after slavery to do what we needed to do or what we wanted to do or having the same freedoms as other people. So people could tell you that you're free, but we're not as free because there's no equality. Freedom, justice, and equality. What you call freedom or the freedom that you're giving me is in my community. Other people have freedom in their community and beyond their community and have different freedoms within the system and the government. They have more freedom than I have. And that is not equality. So we fight for our freedom. We fight for justice because we feel like we're not getting justice. And we fight for equality. The next 12 Jews is something more physical, personal. That's food, clothing, and shelter. Those are the basic needs in life. You have to eat. You have to have shelter from the elements or shelter from attack. You know, sometimes when you're in your house, you're keeping animals out. That's shelter. Shelter from whatever it is. Shelter is defense sometimes. And clothing. Clothing from the elements. Now, if anyone, and these are the things that will give you love, peace, and happiness. Now, if someone else outside of your group controls your Jews or any of your Jews, there's not going to be a balance and you're not going to achieve any of it. If someone else is controlling your freedom, your justice, and equality, then you're constantly fighting for them to obtain those things. And if you're fighting and that is your goal and this is our design, we're trying to find a path to get the things that we need, that freedom, justice, and equality that our organizations, Black Panther Parties, Nation of Islam's, you know, all these civil rights movements and all these leaders have been fighting for. Movements, organizations, leaders. They're fighting for freedom, justice, and equality. Something that we haven't been able to obtain because someone else controls it. And it's okay. We're going to continue to fight with them. But it's going to weaken the fight if we don't have food, clothing, and shelter. Because they control our economics now. They have been controlling our economics. To get food in this country, you need money. To get clothes in this country, you need money. To get shelter in this country, You need money. You can't buy a house or you're renting from them and then they control your environment because they can control where you're getting your shelter at, which is your home, which you can't afford. They control the economy. This is the chessboard that we are facing that many of us are not even realizing that we're facing. So now you could have people that have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of what's happening, and they become leaders. But it's hard for them, and you could be wanting to follow that leader, but you also got to follow your instincts to survive, to take care of your home. If you barely could put food on the table by design, by their design, they're controlling your jewels to do that, then you're not going to be behind this movement for justice or equality. You're being absorbed with getting food, clothing, and shelter. That means you have to work for them because we are not controlling or manifesting our own destiny. We're not growing our own food, controlling our own consumption of food, or where we get our food from. And then we are not controlling our own shelter then. Because if they are controlling the economics that we have and everything that we need as far as physical things is dependent on economics that they control, then they control those things. Then they control where we could live. And if they get us all in a group or community and they call it a ghetto, then they control what happens in that ghetto. It's like rounding up cattle. You can control them easily, more easily if you got them in a control group as opposed to them spreading out. Now they control the education in your community. You're not going to the same places or school systems that they are going to. They have you rounded up in what we call a ghetto. And this is where we're at when it comes to trying to solve our issues. And I'm using this analogy to break down the structure of this country and how they are using their power, the moves that they have that we are not understanding and seeing, to control our destiny and our fate. So we keep fighting the same battles. But if you want to get or be able to fight for the freedom, justice, and equality, you have to control your own food, clothing, and shelter. And once they don't have control over that, then you can fight them full force with all of the people that we have at our disposal to do what we need to do to move in a certain way to achieve our freedom and our justice and our equality. And then we will be able to manifest our destiny and be able to have love, peace, and happiness and live in harmony with each other. Right now, we're fighting each other. They have us fighting with each other for crumbs. And I always give the analogy, if I have a dog, you have a dog, she has a dog, he has a dog, you could put them dogs all in the same gate. Long as they all can eat. They got their own dishes. They have their own water. They will play together and become a pack. But once you only put one bowl out there for food, then they have to fight. And there has to be a hierarchy. Somebody's going to eat and somebody's going to be hungry. Someone's fighting for control. And this is what we're doing because they have us in our communities fighting for control. They have our kids fighting for control of resources, wanting to get money. Then they throw something out there and give them a means to make money that they can arrest them doing illegal means. They're indirectly controlling these circumstances because we don't have control of our circumstances. We don't have control of our destiny. So it makes it easy for the repetitive violence to happen in our communities, no matter where we're at in this country. You go on the East Coast, these same situations exist. You go on the West Coast, and they're thousands of miles apart. You go down south, the same situations exist. Every city, no matter what your religion is, no matter what your beliefs are, You're still fighting for freedom, justice, and equality. And you may bond together and get food, clothing, and shelter. But it's not just about you and your group, because you have the forces, or the strength is going to come with the multitude of us. So you have to learn how to bond together with different belief systems. But they have us fighting with each other over belief systems and theories. Not bonding and not binding. Not seeing that we're constituents to a bigger purpose. So now you're a Christian over here. These people are Muslims over here. These people in the nation. These people are atheists. These people are spiritualists, and they fighting with each other. Or not bonding. You might not even be fighting, but you're not bonding for a common cause or goal. And I don't believe that that is the God body, or what God has wanted us to embody. And because we're not embodying that, this is why we are slow to progress. These differences in a microcosm, the Willie Lynch syndrome, whether you feel like it's a factual letter or not, it still is valid. The differences are keeping us apart. And to bond with somebody, even if you get married, there's differences between those individuals. In any relationship, nobody is just exactly the same. You grow up a little different. You have different amount of siblings or whatever. You have a different family structure. You come out maybe in the same environment, but you're not. So what you do, you bond with people. All of your friends that you come up with in the community or school, y'all may be in the same environment, but y'all situation is not on point together. So you have to maneuver a little. You have to wiggle a little. Some of us have friends that's from different faiths. What difference do it make? You can still be friends with them. And so we have to bond. We have to bind. That is the God body. Embodying what you believe that some creator has put in place, has designed. Now, this is my theory, that this is what we must do to correct our ailments in this country. People talk about Pan-Africanism and all these things, but you have to do what it takes to bind and to bond with each other. Just like we go and we try to bond with our religious beliefs or our spiritual beliefs. You go around people with the same type of beliefs. And if this person is say, well, I'm a spiritualist, and I've known people that say I'm a spiritualist and this person is spiritualist, and I ask them, what's the dogma? Well, I don't know well, tell me, what is it that the structure of what you believe? And he'll say something totally different than this other person that claims to be an African spiritualist. But they could bond together on what they are or what they have in common. They just won't bond with this other person that may be Christian or Muslim or whatever. They talk about your belief system. None of these things that we talk about or debate in our communities are helping us. If we're not debating theories to correct our issues, then we're going to keep fighting the same battles over and over and over. And we'll never achieve love, peace, and happiness. We'll never get the freedom, justice, and equality that we're looking for, because those that control the system want us fighting with each other. They don't want us bonding with each other. And even if we go outside of our group and we bond and have allies with other groups, in The Art of War, the book The Art of War, it talks about keeping your enemy weak by not allowing them to have allies, because allies make them stronger. We have to first become allies within our own community. Not that we're the same, but at least be allies and move as one, because we should have the same goal: freedom, justice, and equality. I don't care what your religion is. Do you want freedom, justice, and equality for our people? If you don't, if you just want it for your group, then you're not seeking the same things that we're seeking, and that's fine. Do it on your own, or be an ally. To understand that you want to do it for yourself, or you want to do it, but you're going to find out that you're going to be stronger with the group and the multitude. But we have to find a way to bond together, to bind together. Use our different God body theories to bond together, to strengthen our own movements and plans and designs and all these things that we want to achieve. And if our youth is seeing us do these things, they may have faith in what we're doing. And then we have faith that we have taught them well to keep taking the baton and making progress on what we have designed, instead of them trying to make progress on what has been disruptive, designed to be disruptive among us. Achieving those 12 jewels: knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Be scientific in how you approach things. Many people, they can't have a conversation without getting upset. Somebody could tell me whatever they want to believe. I could sit here and listen to you. Just because I entertain a thought doesn't mean that I believe, or I have to believe, or whatever. I can entertain the conversation. That's great. I understand what you're saying. But now let's talk about this. Because what you're talking about and what I may be talking about, somebody could say, well, tell me about Islam. I could tell you all of this stuff that you want. But okay, but now let's talk about theories on rectifying the situations that our people has been fighting with. And we should always be engaged in these type of conversations. That's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. What we need to do, how we need to do it. Come up with a plan, a goal. I understand what you believe. I'm going to come up with something that doesn't interfere with your belief system. Okay, I know that you got to do this. I'm not going to come up with this plan on Sunday because I know you're going to go to church. I'm not going to ask you to come to this church to do this because I know that's not your. We're going to do something that's going to be constructive to all of us to meet this goal, because we want freedom, justice, and equality. And us bonding together, that's going to make them give us freedom, justice, and equality. But we have to also control our own food, clothing, and shelter. If they control that, then they're going to occupy our struggle. And then we always say the struggle is real. Yeah, it's real for all of us. And they keep the struggle real. They keep us struggling for the necessities of life that they can control. And then we don't have the time to be going to this meeting. I got to work. Why? Because I got to get the things that they control that I got to trade with them to get. I got to keep my electricity bill on. I got to put food in my refrigerator. I'm dependent on somebody else. And you thinking, well, I'm feeding myself. No, you're still going to work to barter with someone else to get you the food that you need in your house. So you're compliant with the system that we are working in. We're not controlling our own food. And even if we have to continue to do that, but if we were actually a community and this person didn't have to work 2 jobs to do, because we started collecting our funds and helping and designing our kids with a mindset that when you go to college or whatever you do as a doctor, you are not doing it as an individual. This is the plan. This is my plan for you. This is their plan for her. And this is your plan for my son, and my plan for your daughter is for when she makes it. My plan is to patronize her business or her office. And we have that mindset from the older generation to the younger generation, and they could see us trying to manifest some type of destiny for them to be better off. Then we won't have that disconnect among generations, because we have a disconnect among our generations like we have a disconnect with each other. And this is how we will someday, somehow, have food. Love, peace, and happiness. And I appreciate everyone that showed up this week. I know this is a different type of discussion and things that I'm talking about, but hopefully I have a better show for y'all next week. I appreciate the patience. Um, Peace. Kevin Lewis on the Blueprint.